over the past, I guess, 24, 36 hours, we have had, and again, you know, like it's impossible to even state facts or vague facts, like prefacing it and qualifying it as like, these are reports that we have gotten from the news, broadly speaking, various news outlets. But I don't know if there are, you know, if there's anybody who has a corner on the truth that is coming out of this region. But there appears to be increased shelling, and I'm not even clear, like, you know, who started the shelling or who's fully engaging in the shelling between Ukraine forces and separatist forces, presumably in the Donetsk, I can't pronounce these two regions, the Lutensk and Don, Eastern Ukraine and Donbas, and the shelling has been going on. And there was like, there's a video now from someone's helmet cam, which ostensibly is some elite squad of supposedly showing Ukrainian sort of elite special ops type of squad that was attempting to blow up some type of chlorine factory in the separatist region. And they were thwarted, and which sort of conforms with maybe what the administration had been hinting at in terms of a possible, false flag video showing Ukrainian forces trying to commit some type of mass murder of separatists. And
yeah, it is super weird to hear that phrase "false flag" being used by like U.S. government officials, because it's one that I normally associate with like Alex Jones.
Oh, I mean, look, it takes one to know one. I mean, it's not like we haven't been involved in false flag operations, right. Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, the right. U.S. Maine, maybe, you know, like we've had plenty of these. And so the bottom line, though, is it seems like, you know, what does the Biden administration do? Presumably they don't want a war. Although there's a lot of people out there that feels like they do. But I don't know. What's your sense? The Biden administration, like, I can't see how they think this is good under their watch, as it were.
Yeah, it's really disturbing because it seems like, okay, so things are, you know, heating up again now, you know, between these like Russian-backed separatist factions and, you know, the Ukrainian government, which I guess it's also worth saying, like, one thing that complicates all of this is that without making excuses for like Russia's like regional mini imperialism, it is also the case that like the Ukrainian government that exists now, you know, even though they did have a real election since then and all this, like, is a successor to depending on your point of view, revolution or coup that overthrew a Russian-aligned and very corrupt, but also democratically elected government, and that includes like lots of fighting that's being done against the separatists by like very strange, like far-right kind of groups in the Ukraine, right? So all of which is just to say that there isn't a, I think that kind of the image of this as a besieged, you know, like nice democratic country, I think might be a little bit misleading, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's been really disturbing because even before this heated up, I mean, like, there was this really strange spectacle for a while where, you know, like the president of the Ukraine, you know, all right, I will, Ukraine. I know you're supposed to leave off the definite article. I will do that.
I've struggled with that as well, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, usually my joke is just that like they should have been nicer to my family if they wanted me to leave off the definite article, you know. But as the descendant of people who had to get out of the Ukraine in a hurry, but yeah, I think that. But I think that like there was this weird thing where Ukrainian officials were saying, "No, calm down. right? There's not going to be an invasion. And it seemed like the Biden administration was saying, no, there definitely is going to be. And it seemed very unclear what the end game would be. And it seems just like an incredibly dangerous thing to saber rattle about, because even though it's probably extremely unlikely that there would be like a war that the United States would be directly involved in. I mean, like if you think about how many times the United States and at that time the Soviet Union came to, like, obliterating the world in the 20th century. I mean, that seems like something you really don't want to mess around with.
Russians are doing nuclear exercises today, is my understanding. What I would imagine to sort of like, as a way of maybe increasing the stakes. But I mean, was your sense that the Biden administration was saber rattling? I mean, they were clearly getting out ahead of where the Ukraine government was. The Ukraine government, my understanding is, was losing like billions of dollars, not the government, but the economy had been losing billions of dollars over the past couple of months because of fears of a Russian invasion. And so they're in this sort of like bind where, on one hand, I imagine they want some attention in the event that they at one point thought that maybe Russia was going to invade. We still don't know. Maybe Russia is still going to invade. We just don't know. The United States is not as concerned about the Ukrainian economy, I would imagine, as they are as to their desire for there not to be an invasion, right? I mean, that's my sense. Like, I can't quite figure out why would the Biden administration could certainly be far too arrogant and thinking like, Ukrainians don't understand. We have more intelligence or this and that, whatever it is. Look down and be condescending about it. And you're not going to take the lead. We're going to take the lead type of situation, even though we're not really actually going to fight if there is an invasion. But we feel like stopping it, it's worth the billions of dollars that your economy loses because we want to raise the stakes in terms of Russia doing this. And we need for our own domestic, I guess, ability to, have the Senate vote on sanctions or whatever it is. I mean, I guess one
question I always have about this is like, what's the, because we think about the United States like having, like just sort of naturally having this role in the world, but like I don't think we would normally ask what like the what should Russia have done to stop, like pick your favorite U.S. Unjustified intervention in the world, right? Like should Gorbachev have done something to stop the invasion of Panama, for example? And that's not clear to me. I mean, like, given that escalated superpower tensions is really bad, given that even though it's extremely unlikely that there would be a direct war, it is a potentially catastrophic thing to mess with. That it seems like it could be possible both to say that that like Russia's actions are wildly unjustified, and also that having the United States play this kind of role in like sort of facing off over it and escalated tensions is still not what should be happening.
Right. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, we'll never know. I mean, if it's unclear if the United States is, even if their intention is, the administration's intention is to avoid a war, it's unclear whether A, they have the ability to do it, B, whether their intervention makes it more likely, C, we'll never know one way or another, regardless of what happens. I mean, because...
And it feels like to me that I don't think they want war either, but they're not going to tone down the rhetoric or the, not even saber rattling, but I've been saying this throughout the conflict, the chest puffing, in order to ensure that war won't happen. Because I believe there's a perception in the administration that they took a hit on Afghanistan. And that's why we saw this, press conference from Biden that no one asked for about oh, we assassinated the ISIS leader that you were so terrified about. I mean, no one knew his name, and the new one will emerge in a second. But we got them, and 13 other civilians as well. And now it's like, let's look really tough on Russia here. Even though my belief is that the average voter who has very little understanding of or care about what's happening in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, and I also wonder, like, I understand that the optics of the way that the pullout from Afghanistan happened, like, were really bad, but still, I mean, I think if it were, up to a popular referendum, the United States would have gone, like, left Afghanistan long before it did. I mean, I think that the polling is, like, really clear on that, right? So I think, I wonder if even as a cynical political calculation, it's actually, I mean, I guess this is what you're saying, Emma, but how much sense it even makes in those terms, right? Like is it really the case, like, that that anywhere near the top of the list of reasons for Democrats to worry about the midterms or whatever is this perception of being not tough enough, in terms of projection of American military power abroad?
Oh, I think, I mean, I do think that Biden feels like, I came off as a little bit cucked because we got humiliated, as opposed to the actual exit, because the American public, and certainly not the right, doesn't care one whit about Afghanistan. If we did, he would not have stolen essentially the Afghan $7 billion,
right,
and taken half of it, and then decided how we were going to deploy the other half in terms of humanitarian supposedly spending in Afghanistan. Nobody in this country cares about the Afghan people. I'm not, obviously not nobody, but the body politic does not care about the Afghan people. It's really just more about, like, the same sort of rhetoric about Obama apologized in Egypt. He apologized, like we look weak, and it is literally that sort of substantive, which is to say, not at all. It is completely, and one of the things, and it's maybe there's a good opportunity to pivot to what's going on with the Democrats right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that has always sort of, like, there's this sense that if Biden's numbers are bad, it doesn't matter how they get up or what it is that's right. They're going to try everything to get those numbers up, because presumably that's going to help the Democrats in the midterm elections. This is on this is their logic. There may be something to that, but I'm not convinced that this is the way to do it. That the elections are going to turn on, like, Biden's a cuck. We're going to, get cucked in Afghanistan. We're going to.
That's 3 cucks in the first hour. Now 4.
Sorry about that.